that are just happening in the country, and you have to wait to see if they can be stopped in a timeline that could be months, if not years.
Yeah. And I mean, for people to understand, simply put, you can have a child born on U.S. soil right now in New Jersey, where I believe there is already like a defense against this launched in the state of New Jersey, that is a full-blown American citizen, in spite of the fact that one or neither of this child's parents are documented U.S. citizens. That child will get, I guess, some kind of American citizenship, right? Because we don't know. We literally don't know. Whereas, like, in a place like Texas, for example, the like local state office could decide against that, and then that child born on U.S. soil is effectively stateless. Like, this person will not have a state.
It's unbelievable. And you're right. Like, if there was a case in New Jersey that the circumstances of that case are narrowed to the state of New Jersey, then you have different standards for birthright citizenship in New Jersey or Texas or Wyoming or wherever else. So it's a very unworkable system, and it's kind of like welcome to the Trump era.
I mean, this is Dred Scott, right? I mean, this is exactly because, like, one of the immediate problems that I can foresee is what happens when a child born in New Jersey to undocumented parents that is classified as an American citizen actually engages in interstate travel and goes through a state where they are not considered a citizen. Does that mean technically that the New Jersey law remains? Because obviously, in this,
what controls in that case?
Which one has a higher priority? And judging by the way that this administration is operated, it doesn't feel like they would abide by the New Jersey standard, and instead would nab people and declare them stateless and send them to a concentration camp.
And if you can't get nationwide injunctions, you'd have to find a willing plaintiff and a willing judge in every state in the country in order to get a uniform standard, at least in the interim, right?
Yeah.
Maybe this rises up to the Supreme Court in 3 years and you finally get an answer on it. But that's just not going to happen. Like, there aren't enough judges who would be willing maybe to stop these kinds of things. You just, you're in Mississippi and you get the wrong judge, you draw the wrong judge and they say no. What are you going to do? That's the end of it. So, you're going to create these pockets of the country that have this unclear representation for what a couple, one of whom or both of whom are undocumented and has a child, what that child, where his citizenship lies, his or her.
Yeah. No, we're balkanizing the United States, and 100%. We're fortunate enough to be in the PNW coalition here, where as long as we lock down Colorado, I think we are the bridge between Canada and Mexico. At least,
all hail Governor Kamala, the president of liberal America.
Yeah, we're gonna have the land bridge between Canada and Mexico, and like join a new American Union. I think. There you go. North American Union. All right, well,
secession talk to wrap this. Thanks,
David. Thank you so much for coming on. This was wonderful. You are so knowledgeable and so insightful. Where can people find you?
You go to prospect.org. We're there every day. We're actually doing a pop-up newsletter on this bill. So you can sign up for the newsletter at prospect.org, and you'll get all of our stories in your inbox about the big booty bill, the big beautiful bill, every single day until it's done, which could be this week. So you might not get many more, but we're going to be keeping on it. And I'm at the former Twitter at DDayen, DDAYEN.
Hell yeah! Thanks a lot, David.
All right, thanks, man.
Bye. That was David Dayen of Prospect. Fantastic conversation. One of my favorite guests of all time. Consistently, endlessly knowledgeable. think I'm also getting a little bit better at interviewing guests, don't you think? I didn't see a lot of naysayers in the chat complaining about how long and convoluted my questions were. I'm doing this thing where I know the answer to the question, but instead of like blurting out all this information, I just let my guest explain it. You know? Not a lot of naysayers in the chat on this one, so that's good. But yeah, now we're gonna get back to the Zoramentum and everything else that is unfolding in the country, in the nation. We'll talk about the Idaho sniper situation and a lot more. Literally just happened 2 hours ago as a follow-up to the birthright citizenship class action. Guess what? The DOJ is opposing that they can't even do it. The DOJ is opposing that they can't even do it. What is this? Breaking: DOJ will oppose a request for class certification to create a class action lawsuit in the Maryland CASA case challenging Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship after the Supreme Court ended universal injunctions and said class actions remain available for broad relief. Rosenberg says DOJ will oppose motion for class certification. That was quick. That happened, instantly. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean, this is just this is normal as far as like trying to oppose the class certification is normal. It doesn't mean that the courts are going to see it the way that the DOJ sees it. But the fact that they're like very quickly trying to undermine the one method that is available for people to protect birthright citizenship, they are very quickly appealing. Fox, a judge decided to delay Abrego Garcia's release from a jail over deportation concerns home, and there is no place in this country for this man. He needs to be sent home. There's also that. Dude, so much happening. So much happening. Fetterman. Oh, John Fetterman, by the way. Remember what we were talking about in terms of like how important it is for the Democratic Party to like demonstrate messaging discipline and attack this incredibly unpopular bill that is a ginormous wealth transfer to the super wealthy. This is what the ogre had to say.
Oh my God! I just want to go home. I've already I've missed our entire trip to the beach. My family's.
Did you get any clues on the floor about what time this might wrap?
Oh my God! I just want to go home. I've already I've missed our entire trip to the beach. My family's going to be back before we that. So and again, I'm going to vote no. There's no drama. The votes are going to go. In fact, the only interesting votes are going to be on the margin, whether that's Collins or Johnson and those. But all the Democrats, we all know how that's going to go. And I think
Well, there was a little bit of interest in whichever way you went, depending on how hard your brain was actually bricked from the stroke. I wouldn't have, like, I literally thought maybe he would be the one fucking standalone Democrat that accidentally votes in favor of this because, reasons. I don't know. He's just fucking insane. He is so stupid. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. I just wanted to go home. Yeah, can't believe this needs to be said. You are there to oppose them kicking millions of people off their health insurance, you absolute freak. Like, I guess it's cool that he's voting no. That's good. But he's crying about how long this process is taking. This is the most this is perhaps the worst possible way of criticizing this bill. Me, an incredibly unlikable ogre, is being my vacation is being disrupted by this, is the worst way to message on this. Okay? Oh, I was gonna go to the beach with my family. Like, are you fucking stupid? People's lives are on the line, man. It's crazy. You're ruining my beach day. This fucking guy. Moments like this were becoming increasingly difficult for staff to explain, and behind the scenes, things were worse. In March, Fetterman suddenly took an early morning trip to Hartford, Connecticut, without telling his team why, leaving them at a loss for what to tell Giselle when she demanded to know why he was missing one of their kids' birthdays. I was gonna go to the beach. Tremendous stuff. God, I hate this fucking ogre so much.
I don't think it's really helpful to put people here till when some ungodly hour. And again,
yeah, by the way, you should be reminded that when this fucking ogre became this conservative deity, this conservative voice in the party, a lot of the establishment Democrats said, oh, he should be the new face of the party. They want this to be the new face of the party.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Just, if you want to understand where our priorities are and what the Democrats are doing and how they're operating. It just anyway, let's get back to the Mamdani mania.
Globalize the Intifada.
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that, to have meaning, have to be applied to all people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike.
But do you actually condemn it? I think that's the question.
What difference does it make? Let's say he says no. Or let's say he says yes. He says yes, you're still going to keep bullying him and be like, well, your supporters say it. Okay. If he says no, you're going to keep bullying him and say, oh, well, don't you think it's a violent thing to say? Don't you think it's a violent thing to say? It's like, I hope he reframes the question around the humanity of Palestinians here, because that's the most prescient way to deal with this. Okay. That's the most successful way to just go and be like, you want to have a conversation about how Arabic words scare people, okay? At a time when everyone in America has seen little children blown up with our taxpayer-funded weapons at a time when we should be spending all this money on fixing our fucking roads, dealing with the homelessness crisis in American cities. Nobody cares. No one cares. It's like, stop. Like, the violence of words is being discussed at a time when the real violence that is happening over there is only happening because of the structural violence of poverty that we have implemented in this country. We can't spend any money on ourselves because we have to spend all that money killing children over there.
And the outstanding issue that a number of people, both of the Jewish faith and beyond, have. Do you condemn that phase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard.
Aren't they just trying to get Mamdani to accept responsibility for racist fears by asking that question? Like the question assumes that he already agrees with it. Yes. I have the fucking congressperson doing this, by the way. Civilized people in America don't eat like this. If you refuse to adopt Western customs, go back to the third world, says Congressman Brandon Gill. This is some real freak shit, dude. Actually some freak shit.
From many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns.
Wait, he's married to an Indian lady, I'm pretty sure. Brandon Gill is. But I don't even know if, I'm sure there's certain Indian cultures that will eat like certain foods with their hands. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't fucking understand why this is a big deal. Who gives a fuck? His father-in-law. Wait, Dinesh D'Souza's daughter? He's married to Dinesh D'Souza's daughter? First of all, every culture has hand food, okay? Every culture. How do you eat a fucking hamburger, dumbass? How do you eat a pizza? How do you eat a taco? Okay, you eat it with your fucking hands. The only difference in this circumstance is that this is like food that Westerners eat without their hands. They eat it with the utensils. That's the only reason why people are freaking out about it, okay? How do you eat fucking French fries? Yeah, things are going so well for the anti-Mamdani camp that they're now resorting to criticizing the way he eats food. Zoran should go eat pizza with a fork and knife while Subway serving just to piss everyone off. It's so funny that Zoran clearly uses cutlery to eat food all the time to the point of using it to eat a burrito on the Subway, but he eats with his hands on camera like the costume performance thing for white people to find him exotic. This is unironically not even for white people to find him exotic, you fucking donkey. Oh my God. Every single president has eaten with their hands, and the average American is an overweight slob and is proud. Be quiet. Latinx. Is it Latinx? Hit him with the Latinx. Anybody who uses their hands like this should be barred from ever being allowed in American politics. Whoever said he's married to Dinesh D'Souza's daughter is fucking wrong. What the fuck? His daughter is the leader for Women for Trump and Mamdani. Wait, what? No, dude. What are you talking about? No, they said the Texas Congressman Brandon Gill is married to Dinesh D'Souza's daughter. They didn't say... And they're right. They're fucking right. Why are you freaking out? They're literally right. Danielle D'Souza. The goat Normal Finkelstein on how Zoran should handle these ghouls. Norman Finkelstein, who canvassed for Zoran Mamdani, gives advice on how to deal with Zionist smears, drawing on the experience with Corbyn, and explains how Zionists are deploying a strategy to destroy him from the outside or co-opt him from within. Don't give him an inch. Yeah, I mean, I already covered this. Yeah, Bill de Blasio was fucking skewered alive for eating a pizza with a fork. None of this shit matters. Okay, I can't even believe we're entertaining this shit. God,
especially
I hate this.
in light of the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city. And I've heard those fears and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I've put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%. I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech in the manner especially of that of Donald Trump, who has put one New Yorker in jail who's just returned to his family, Mahmoud Khalil, for that very supposed crime of speech.
This is a great way to fucking restructure the conversation in a way that like appeals to liberals as well. He's basically politely saying, why are you doing the same thing that Trump is doing? To me, a Democrat. Why are you at NBC News, a liberal media outlet, doing the same thing that Donald Trump is doing? Are you not a Democrat? Are you not a liberal? Do you not care about liberal values? It's a good deflection mechanism, in my opinion.
Speech. Ultimately, what I think I need to show is the ability to not only talk about something, but to tackle it and to make clear that there's no room for anti-Semitism in this city. We have to root out that bigotry, and ultimately we do that through the actions, and that is the mayor I will be, one that protects Jewish New Yorkers and lives up to that commitment through the work that I do.
But quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed, putting them in jail for protesting. Ultimately, it's not language that I use. It's
like I said, he doesn't pivot back to the real issue, in my opinion, but I mean, it's still fine. It's a good deflection. But like, I think what would even serve him better is why this question is being directed in his, this question is being directed at him. Okay. Number one, because this is like a racist fear. He has made his position known, but then again, that might come across as like too angry. But then also redirect the conversation, steer the conversation back to like what's happening in Gaza, and also how we as American citizens are actually understandably disturbed and should be even more disturbed because it's happening with our tax dollars instead of our tax dollars going to help us. Our tax dollars are going over there to Israel to kill people. People are very obviously aware of this. People are very obviously disturbed by this. And language policing and tone policing of this sort at a time when like 80% of the Democratic Party's base of support understands what's going on is very silly.
Language I understand there are concerns about, and what I will do is showcase my vision for the city through my words and my actions.
Let me ask you broadly, your surprise victory has some progressive Democrats saying, boy, you may have determined the model for the Democratic Party nationally in this moment. Do you think your campaign represents the playbook for how to win in the Trump era for Democrats?
I think it showcases a new approach to politics in our city, and it's for others to decide across our country. Ultimately, what we wanted to do from the very beginning of this race was change our political instinct from lecturing to listening. And after the presidential election, where we saw New York be the state in the nation with the largest swing towards Donald Trump, 11.5 points, and we saw that swing took place far from the caricatures of Trump voters, I went to those hearts of immigrant New York City that were the fulcrum of those swings, Hillside Avenue in Queens, Fordham Road in the Bronx, and I asked Democrats, who did you vote for and why? And I heard from them again and again, I voted for Donald Trump because I could afford things that are now out of my reach today. And ultimately, when I asked them what would it take to bring you back to the Democratic Party, they said a relentless focus on an economic agenda. And that's the campaign that we built.
Do you think that your apparent victory is a sign that there is an appetite for young progressives like a Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to run for president in 2028?
It's an honor to be endorsed by Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez and to have been represented by her for so many years, because she's showcased so much of what we're trying to do in this campaign. The ability to not only stand up and fight, but also to win. And ultimately, what people want to see is someone who doesn't just believe in something, but can deliver on those things. And now, especially more than ever, we need to be a party that's not just against Donald Trump, but also for something. And our campaign was for working people, for bringing dignity back into those lives. And that's what the Congresswoman has showed time and again.
I can't let you go without doing a little bit of local politics.
Please.
So Mayor Eric Adams already in the general election as an independent candidate. We're waiting to see if Andrew Cuomo officially throws his hat into the ring. Do you think you can win if the two of them are in the race? Can you beat both of them?
Absolutely. We can beat anyone that's in this race, because what we've shown is that this is a campaign that has the support of more than 400,000 New Yorkers. In the first round of Tuesday night, we got more votes than Eric Adams did by the last round of 2021. And ultimately, it's a referendum on how he made this city so unaffordable. For too long, politicians have pretended to simply be bystanders to a cost of living crisis. They've actually exacerbated it. And our vision is one that will respond to it and make this a city affordable for every New Yorker.
I will say this much. He doesn't get jammed up with the anti-Semitism shit, which is awesome. I will, like, one of the biggest problems with Corbyn in the UK, which is a very different media environment, much more hostile, and a very different approach to anti-Semitism smears, wasn't necessarily that Corbyn constantly found himself having to answer these questions. All of the media time wasted on talking about how anti-Semitic Jeremy Corbyn was, in the same exact way, by the way. Very different era, too. Very different era, for the record. I think if they try to do that shit to Jeremy Corbyn right now, his popularity would skyrocket. Because, again, we're talking post-October 7 now. We're talking 20 months of Israel's genocide. Obviously, attitudes have shifted dramatically, right? But the media did this to Jeremy Corbyn all the time. And one of the biggest issues that I saw was not necessarily how scared people were of his anti-Semitism. It was more so that that was the only thing he talked about. He was constantly on the defensive. Right? And having to only talk about how he doesn't hate Jews. Okay? This is precisely how they effectively destroyed any kind of opportunity Jeremy Corbyn would have had on the primary stage, on the main stage, in talking about his policies. Zoran deflects away when asked these like incredibly racist questions, right? You as a Muslim, very scary. Use Muslim words, also scary, scares me, right? Muslim words scare me. Intifada seems like a Muslim word. You say it's Arabic. I say Arabs are Muslim. Like, sure, he talks about it briefly when that question comes up, and it comes up all too much, in my opinion. But he very quickly turns around and talks about the things that he wants to do for New York. That's good. That's really good. This way, the campaign is not jammed up by how much Zoran loves Israel. Does he sufficiently love Israel or not? Is he going to defend Israel personally? Is he going to join the IDF? Is he not going to join the IDF? If he doesn't join the IDF, is this anti-Semitic? What is this? Even if he's winning the argument, it's better to be cold-headed, which is harder when you're ideologically committed. Christian freaks questioning the validity of Jews who don't love genocide. The Fox News anchor questioned the faith of Jewish lawmakers who support New York's chosen Democratic mayoral candidate, Zohran Mamdani. Bro, this is, I said this already, but you're seeing it happen more and more frequently. There is this tendency amongst evangelical Christian Zionists where they themselves are more Jewish than actual Jews who are anti-Zionist. Like they literally think